Hello, this is James from Easterseals, and today we're going to be talking about using keys as a form of self-defense. Now, this is going to be a part of a three-part series because there is a lot to talk about. In general, we're going to be using just kind of a set of keys like this, and I want to focus on this lesson on what not to do when using keys as a self-defense. And in general, I'm not going to recommend using keys in this way. Now, if you have to, it's better than nothing. But there's a couple problems with using keys in this way. First of all, let's say that you use your keys effectively as self-defense or something, and then they get broken. Well, how are you going to get home or something? What if they take your keys in the process? You always want to have a way of escape. So, for example, if you're fighting with your car keys and then somehow they get broken and you can't run to your car because it's unlocked, see how there's a little bit of problems there. The most important thing is to safely exit. And if you lose that ability to safely exit because you're using your keys as self-defense, then that's an issue. So that's one thing to keep in mind. However, if let's say that you're pressed against the wall and they're choking you or they're hitting you and stuff, and you don't really have anything, you can't really fend off with your hands, your keys might work effectively. Now, we're going to talk about that much later in other videos of how to use your keys effectively, but I want to explain on this one of what not to do. So the first thing, in general, if you can avoid using your keys as self-defense, then do so. If you have other weapons like pepper spray or there's a lot of other options that I would recommend, and keys is probably on the bottom of the list. Still, I want to talk about ways of which, let's say hypothetically, okay, you have to use your keys as self-defense. Well, how would you hold on to them? And I see a lot of videos where I call it the wolverine look, where you kind of take the keys and you kind of format them like this. At first, it looks not like a bad thing because I can still use my hand and I can throw like a jab or a cross or something. But there is a lot of problems with this. First of all, notice how it is wrapped around my fingers. So if it gets pushed this way, it's going to put pressure into my finger. Right now, this really hurts if I squeeze right here. So let's say that I miss and I hit a wall, it's actually going to really hurt. Also, if I put any pressure, I'll get a little bit closer. If I put any pressure up, it's going to dig right into the skin right here. And so all of a sudden, if I push in, see how it automatically goes up? Or if I push in down. So unless you are perfect, that key's going to go up and down. So while this looks cool at first, when you actually practice it, it's really not that effective. It's not that accurate, and it's not going to do what you think it does. So I really don't recommend actually using your keys that way. Another way I don't recommend is like you'll see people who go like this. Like they'll hold on to it. Maybe they have some sort of like kind of weighted thing. Like let's say there was like some sort of keychain at the bottom and they're going like this. Now, this might work if you're slashing somebody on the eyes, but I'm not really feeling anything. That just kind of stings. I could do this all day. The problem is that you're just not generating enough energy. Now, this is a lot different, and we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about exactly the problem, if you just saw, with that type of method. This is a little bit better because I can generate some sort of energy, but I can't with this close. There's not enough energy on here. And then going back to the point I said, well, what if I get them across the eye and stuff? Well, you would have to be very close. And at that point, if you're at scratching distance, then just scratch them. Like, it's far better to just actually eye gouge with your fingers than to use a key at that point. Because now I have a closed fist and I'm going like this. Well, I would much rather have an open fist so I can shield myself. I have more options. This limits me to only doing this. the more versatility you have in self-defense typically is better. So in general, this method is not great. This method is not great. And in general, using keys is probably not a good idea because you could either damage your keys or they could take your keys. So there's a lot of drawback to that. So what's actually better, and we'll talk about this in the next video, is to just use one of your keys. Another option, and let me just pull this up if I have it. Okay, I found it. So another option you could actually consider, and this is another thing it's not entirely effective, but it is better than nothing, is to actually get one of these key extenders. Now this thing is very heavy, and if you were to whip someone in the face with this, it's pretty effective. So if you have something weighted on here, now you have some options. And I also would actually feel pretty good close-handed with this. Even a punch with this, because it's weighted, works. This can also be put onto pressure points. So if you have something weighted that's not your keys, I would probably strike with that instead, because you're not worried about somebody grabbing your keys or damaging it instead. And you can hold on to the keys, even if I'm close distance like this. If I got want in the face, that's going to probably do some damage. So in the next video, we'll be talking about how to effectively attack with your keys. With that being said, I hope this was informative, and I'll see you next time.